All right. Uh, Welcome to the weekly OpenStack Technical Committee meeting. This is our monthly video meeting, but it's also happening simultaneously on the OpenStack TC channel on OFTC, where we'll be taking notes and minutes, and folks can also just join there and start chatting. We have a few people that are out today, and actually most of the team might be out. So we'll see how much of the agenda we can cover with what we have. But let's get started with last week's AIs. Them down somewhere. Okay. I think we meant to follow up on the Munaska project team issue, and we did. There was a couple of things that progressed last week. I'll just drop in a link to the email thread. If I can find it. There we go. So there have been no responses on that email thread, and I think internally I just had a deadline um, claiming we've been asking for folks to help with this, and it should be fine for us to start the retirement. I just started an Etherpad because I was planning on trying to understand how this was done in the past, figure out all the patches that are required. There's a really nice document that's there for this process. So thanks for writing and contributing to it. So just start going through the steps of these of that process is the plan at the moment. Does that make sense? Any questions,
Yeah,
concerns?
I think the main thing is like once we have the governance proposal and merge it, and then rest of the cleanup implementation can be done in project config or project side.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm worried here is the volunteer to do all those steps because cleaning up the retirement things require quite work.
Yeah.
Especially not to introduce, all these Joule error or something. So there are steps written very clearly, and if someone volunteer, those can be done. And as per the process, like once we have the retired ACL config updated in project config, so TC member have the plus two on the repository content removal or anything we need to do, updating readme or anything. So we don't need, the existing maintainers to be present or any dependency on them.
Yeah.
Usually I did a lot of project retirement in past, but nowadays I don't have bandwidth
Yeah.
to to do that. So I'll be happy to review or anything.
Yeah, we might need your help on that. I can actually volunteer to do this. Not like I have a lot of time, but I just want to make sure I understand the process entirely because all I was doing was reviewing things in the past. I haven't done one of these, so
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that.
it might be slow and buggy. So yeah, I'll take that as an AI starting with this meeting. And let's see what else. I think another thing was we were discussing the runtime required for the gazpacho release. Uh, so I'm going to probably take that forward to the next week as well, and possibly if there's some update to provide. Any concerns there with that, with the runtime update?
The only one thing maybe we can discuss in Garrett also about the max Python version, what we wanted to support, whether we want to continue with Python 3.12 or 3.13 because of the eventlet.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we have the Debian new version coming up. Ubuntu one is there, so but that is Python version is something. I mean, I don't have any objection if we continue with Python 3.12 and 13 as a best effort. But if you want to make 13 as mandatory max version, then something we need to consider the eventlet, the either our timing goal timelines or something. I remember someone is working on fixing it in 3.12. So
Yeah. So the end of life for Python 3.12 is going to be 2028 October. So that might be something that will factor into this as to whether we want to keep testing the G release beyond that. And of course, what are the major um, distros that we are testing with actually shipping as the default Python version? Okay, nice. Jeremy added a note about Debian and the only Python interpreter version. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Anything else to be said about the runtime update? And eventlet compatibility. Yeah, that's the It's one of the motivating factors to continue testing with something where eventlet is supported, well supported. I see. And Bookworm is the current release of Debian, and its default Python version is 3.11.
And I have to check the Flickr was updating stack job. Let me check.
Was this to do with
Mm.
Trixie?
With the yeah,
Okay.
Debian Trixie, so we can see how things working there. So that can be a good, source for us to decide things are breaking or working.
Work in progress. And Soor
Yeah,
has
last
a
time I
plus
think we
one.
discussed he was waiting with some image or not image to be available or something. I forgot.
It looks like it's working with his last test, but I don't know if, yeah, actually this runs the integrated gate and a whole bunch of Tempest tests.
I think he's adding just a platform job for that.
Okay.
In that change, we just make sure like dev stack is working fine, installation is all good or not, and later on we create a Tempest job on based on the that so that it can run the test case also. So first step is to have a dev stack support whether installation of OpenStack via dev stack on that distro is fine or not.
Yeah,
That's
and it does seem to run some Tempest jobs, the test, right? You're saying that there'll be more.
need to check. I think some smoke test or something might be running, but
Actually, no, the full suite. I think it has 800
mm,
something tests.
okay, let me check.
I was looking at this. The host info does say that it picked up Trixie.
So which job you're looking?
Just a sec. I can link it on the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the smoke test
I see.
only. Yeah, because one thing to note is just running it within the I think 40-minute Tempest full won't run that fast.
I see. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it does run some tests. So yeah,
So
it
we may not
verifies
be
it.
doing any scenarios or something like that.
So that's the second step. Once
Okay.
C platform job is all good, it must, or in even in parallel, uh, I can create a Tempest job which we run as a periodic in Tempest. And once we have that distro version in our runtime, we run that as a somewhere, you know, more frequently.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about this topic? Okay. The last AI that I was tracking was the affiliation discussion that we had towards the end of last meeting. And this is the charter change proposal. But with a bulk of the TC that's out, I'm not sure I can gain any more reviews than it currently has, right? I think um, Doug's looked at it and Ghanshyam's looked at it. Uh, yeah, I think we need at least 5 people. I'm not sure. I need to go back to the math
Five.
of this. 5 out of the 9.
It's
Or
two by third,
oh,
or
oh, is it? Yeah, it has to be 2/3. Sorry.
yeah. So I think six, right?
Yeah, 6 then. Yeah, so we may not have that. I can actually add my own plus twos there, but
Yeah, I think you should have your two.
all right. So what can we do about this for this upcoming election? Do we just try to enforce this informally and push it forward to the next election? Or because we might end up merging this during the nomination window, but there might be somebody that potentially does not update their affiliations.
Mhm.
Is that a
Yeah,
risk?
I think at least the definition of this diversity we should merge because currently it's not in bylaw, which we were referring. So anyone
Right.
can question like about diversity is not there. So we might be in the difficult situation and implementation like whether the candidates are mentioning those diverse affiliation in nomination or not, that can be done even later because we can still verify their affiliation as per the current process.
Yeah.
Right? So those can be done later, even if it's not done on time. But at least the definition of this diversity affiliation diversity, if we merge, that will make it our process complete. Because if it's not in bylaw, there are still chance anyone can question on us which diversity you are referring. There is nothing there.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, this is rewriting some of it, but yeah, you're right. Like that link could
Yeah,
disappear tomorrow.
exactly.
All right. I'll keep up with this and probably, you know, tag a few people for attention.
And we have time as like this diversity thing will come into picture once the elections are closed,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
if there
not really
is a
for the
diversity
nomination.
issue. So we are not like in a very urgent situation. We'll have time to, even the nomination can start in parallel. If voting is going to happen, that can happen in parallel, and this diversity thing can be merged during that time.
Okay. I think the one other thing I remember is, I mean, from the last week's meeting in terms of action items would be at the end of the meeting, we said we'd attend the AI working group and discuss if we needed to do something with an OpenStack. I don't think I got a clear answer as to yes or no. And I should probably find the recording of that meeting or the notes from that meeting. But people were generally interested, as will always be the case, I think. To definitely be plugged into the discussion in case there is something where we might find gaps in OpenStack that need to be filled, and for folks to actually come and design and develop things together with respect to serving AI workloads.
Yeah, I think Silvan is not here. He mentioned he'll be interested in taking part in white paper.
Right.
So,
I'll just link that mail thread. Okay. All right. Let's go into the next item on the agenda, which is actually Monaska's retirement. We already spoke a lot about it, so I'll skip through that and let's check on the gate health. So, has there been any gate concerns to talk about this week?
yeah, nothing. The one thing I was monitoring that granite skip level job timeout was to be fixed with that bug. I didn't notice any, but in case anyone noticed timeout in granite skip level this week, yeah. Other than that, everything else is okay, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Right. Looks like a quiet week, which is it sounds good. A couple of weeks to the, or rather 3 weeks to the feature freeze. So hopefully it stays that way, but let's not jinx it. let's move on. Let's look into the tracker. Oh, okay. Actually, I'll stop. Jeremy mentions that Debian job failures because of the mirror being stale. All right. Anything else about the Git? Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the TC tracker. As you said, I mean, I think the first item on the tracker happens to be the user survey, so we'll capture some of the notes there. Um, so at the end of this month, the current user survey wraps up, and we've had a couple of queries, I think, of people wanting to update questions and such. So I'll go back to Allison and Helena and ask them to uh, probably poll from our project teams for updates to questions because we have not done that in a year, I think. Um, and as we noted earlier, are going to get results from two surveys back to back. So we still are able to do some comparisons, but we should expect that probably closer to to the PTG, and then we can use those results in the PTG for discussions. All right. Um, if anything else of the tracker that we need to talk about today, I don't see major movement on anything else. I think things are progressing as usual. I think we've kind of lost track of the couple of community goals that we did talk about at the PTG. But we were, these were things that we were planning to, add finishing touches to and things in some cases. So I don't know if there's any work that has happened there. We'll follow up. I did have a question myself on one of the TC goals. Sorry,
Yes.
Gachami, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just on RBAC, like
Yeah.
I'm continuing working on those, having monthly meeting. So it used to be a bi-weekly meeting, but I didn't have anyone, showing up in meeting.
Yeah.
So I converted that in the monthly meeting, but still meetings happening. And in terms of progress, I took the Nova manager role, which is merged last week. And next I'm going to work on Nova service role. But other than myself progressing on Nova or taking one project in a cycle, I don't see any other progress from any other projects on our back. Which and my main worries are who projects who have not, finished the phase one itself, the reader role,
Right.
because
It
reader
will.
role is one of
Yeah.
the usable by the users and operator. So we'll see how this go next cycle. But this cycle, my target is to finish up Noah service role too. And yeah, I mean that's the one on our back goal thing.
Yes. And from what I can see in that list, you have 12 projects um, that have not started any work and two that are in progress.
Yeah, Monosca will be out from this list,
Hmm.
and then Tempest is there. Like I have to work on a lot of tests to migrate to the new default. So that is something we can see. I mean, we are testing the new defaults in a job, but I wanted to move all the test to use the least privilege token
Hmm.
to call the API. For example, for manager role, I changed all the um, live migration, cold migration test to use the manager role instead of admin. Because with admin, anyways, they can do it. But with manager, whether they can do it or not, that's what Tempest should test.
Yeah.
So that is one thing, on testing side. But other than that, if we move these out of these two, Horizon Skyline, obviously, the dashboard to move to new defaults. But if I see service side, at least 8 project, if I exclude Munaska, 8 projects, need to
Yeah.
work on. Maybe I'll update the Etherpad, to clearly mention the service side project versus the testing and Horizon, etc.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to suggest is you had done emails in the past about this on the discuss email list, but probably people were ignoring it because the project was not tagged in the.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So maybe we could tag the projects
Okay.
in the next email.
Yeah. Sure. I think, yeah, that's a good idea. I can do that.
And that said, there's possibility that, I mean, just a couple of weeks to really land something before feature freeze. It's possible projects were not planning
Mm.
this work, so but it'll feed into the PTG, so it can be planned for the next cycle. If
Yeah. As long as, like, at least they start the work. Obviously, if it goes in next release, that's still good. But thing is, uh, the start actually.
yeah,
Because everyone knows there is our back goal in PTZ, even in the previous PTZs, if they have not prioritized those things, still, there is some reason like maybe the bandwidth or whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll send it on mailing list. Maybe that's good idea to highlight the remaining project.
awesome, thank you. And oh yeah, I had a question about this one. I'm just going to link this. and this was a proposed goal a while ago. I don't think we picked it up, but we were forced to pick it up and actually get it done from what I see in a lot of different projects. I don't know if there are any remaining projects that need to be tracked for this, because CI would have started failing for these projects if they were not using module paths. So I think we could follow up on this and see if we can actually mark it complete.
Yeah, but we move it to selected or
hmm
not? Not yet.
No, I think we were still debating
Um,
if it's something we need to do.
yeah, I mean that's okay because it's not like only the selected goals we need to work. If any of the effort is being processed and working fine or completed before even refining the goal, that's still good.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just check the progress and then we can mark complete or something.
Yeah, I only see references in the docs if I'm doing a code search for something for the usage of whiskey file. So I think CI has caused failures and project teams have gone ahead and made the changes necessary. Uh, so yeah, I'll check with Stephen as well, and we can mark this complete. Okay, uh, that's a roundup on the tracker. Anything else? Anyone wants to talk about? Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy had a link on the RefStack retirement, and this includes interop RefStack and RefStack client.
Yeah, there's some question still as to what needs to happen with Python Tempest Conf. It looks like it's being actively developed,
Mhm.
but it seems like it's the Red Hat product former Triple O folks who are relying on it for something internal. It doesn't appear that there's anything else in OpenStack, OpenInfra that actually uses Python Tempest Conf these days. So um, need to figure out what should happen with that because it's not an official OpenStack team deliverable of any kind. It had been adopted by the interop working group, the foundation interop working group, which has since dissolved. So there's no actual governance of that repository at this point. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, we even in past we discussed many times if we can keep that under QA, but that doesn't, comes under the scope of QA what we had. But I don't know. So Jeremy, currently it's under OpenStack namespace, or it? I think it is in Open Infra namespace,
it's in
right?
the it's in the open infra namespace. Yep,
Infra namespace.
along with RefStack and RefStack client and the interop repository.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe to discuss within Red Hat Toski is the mainly maintaining that or not, because still I'll not be 100% okay to move this under QA, considering like how many people we have in QA. So I don't want to expand it,
Right. I mean,
even though.
I think probably the best possible outcome would be if the Red Hat product folks who are relying on it just adopted it
Yeah,
as a Red Hat project or something as part of their thing, and they can fork it out of OpenDev to wherever they want, and we could retire the the version that's in the interop that's in the OpenInfra namespace on OpenDev. But that's not urgent. The other thing that came up related to this was an operator question. Apparently, some people were relying on the RefStack server's API that would take an interop specification and filter set and return a list of Tempest tests to run. And then the RefStack client was doing that and was using that to generate a set of Tempest tests. And it sounds like, I guess, at least some operators were using that functionality to decide on subsets of Tempest tests to use to double check that their cloud deployments were okay. I don't know what a good alternative to that is, because I mean that relied on the RefStack server continuing to run. It was a remote operation with the server API. So like obviously people could run forks of the RefStack API service. It's pretty simple. But I
But the
don't know
reason they
if
were
there's
doing
a, if
that
there's a, if
was,
there's a
sorry to interrupt, but I was just thinking the underlying reason that they were doing that is just so that they could qualify this like RefStack intended, right? And eventually that would be
um, the official reason for it to exist was that, yes, back when the trademark policy required them to test their deployments for interoperability, but that's not been a requirement for a while. And since that was the primary need for the RefStack service, or since that was the only official need for the RefStack service, we were decommissioning that. But apparently, that wasn't the only way that people were using it. They were also using it to smoke test their cloud deployments just to make sure that things were okay, even if they weren't necessarily going to be using RefStack to report the results back and to get trademark licenses and that sort of thing. So I don't know if a better answer for those people is to work on trying to define specific tags or subsets within Tempest itself. Just not really. Basically, I think that those operators should probably talk to the QA team a bit and figure out what would make sense that doesn't involve having some interactive service running indefinitely on the internet.
right. Yeah, without all that metadata, I mean, it's just a list of tests, and if somebody wanted to fork like
Yeah,
a list of tests for Tempest uh, that worked exactly like
and
this,
yeah, and we have, like, especially for interop, we have excluded all the admin test into a separate repository, so they can easily run non-admin, and even they wanted to exclude or filter out some of the non-admin test also they can do easily via the exclude list or include list. But yeah, I'll be there. Like if there's any question for QA, if they have something
If I'll
extra they wanted.
Sure. I'll try to funnel people toward the QA team if they've got further questions about how to make subsets of Tempest tests now.
Sure, thanks.
Because this was not really a great way to do it.
Yeah,
it was overkill, I think. But I think it was giving them a way to say, okay, this set of tests was run against this version of OpenStack. So you can be sure you can, if you're deploying this version of OpenStack, you can run these tests and everything should pass, and you've done things right. With Tempest, that's a
Right.
little harder because there's a lot of different things that you can use Tempest for.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else? All right. So if we don't have anything else on the tracker, this is open discussion time. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up that's not on the agenda? No problem about the RefStack stuff. I mean, I considered that as a retirement thing that we could talk about. Um, all right. In terms of open reviews, there are a few of them that could really get closed. So if you're looking at the governance um, proposals, not every one of those is a change that requires a whole lot of input. Some of those are documentation changes and code changes. So if you have a couple of minutes to dedicate, that those would be good reviews to get done and close. And a reminder that I don't have a nice dashboard link to share, but there are other TC owned repositories, and I think I do see a good review cadence going over there with the documentation repos and and service types authority, for instance. So things are looking good. But is there anything anyone else wanted some eyes on? All right. If there's nothing else, we can wrap up here, and uh, I'll capture action items from this as usual, and we'll see each other at the IRC meeting next week.
See you. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you all.